Hey guys, I just finally got back from seeing the Generation 5 My Little Pony movie after months of build-up and hype, and this is my first impressions, first thought. I'm hoping to come back with a more in-depth spoiler review, but you know what, just get it out of the way. It was good. It was great. I loved it. That's honestly all you need to see. Personally, that would be enough. If you were previously a fan of My Little Pony, or if you're just kind of thinking, I'll give this movie a try, it's worth it. You'll enjoy it. That's pretty much where I could end this, but I'll at least go into a little bit more. So, for those who don't know, recently, My Little Pony recently did a rebranding where the previous generation was known as Generation 4. That was Friendship is Magic, Twilight Sparkle, and all that. And this is their new generation. Generation 5, ironically titled A New Generation. I'm kind of hoping that's not what it's fully remembered by. I mean, it's kind of a bit on the tongue, but well, whatever. Let's just get to what the movie was about. So, the movie takes place in an unknown amount of time in the future of the Gen 4 universe. And in this universe, all the pony magic is gone. And thus then enters Sunny, a cheerful, optimistic young pony who wants to make a difference because, as well as the magic being gone, all the pony tribes, that is the unicorns, Pegasi, and earth ponies, I was about to point myself, but I said unicorns first, are kind of all divided now. They live separately, which kind of raises a few issues, but I'll get more into that in my more in-depth spoiler review and kind of hoping it will be addressed in the series. But anyway, she's just trying to do her best and kind of failing until there's one day this one unicorn named Izzy Moonbeams accidentally walks into town. It creates a stir and a panic, and what follows is basically kind of a quest where the two new friends eventually go off and meet more friends and kind of together have to rediscover and find the magic of friendship. You know, when I kind of say it, the movie plot is kind of a bit more complicated than I thought it. In a sense, the best way I can do without spoiling too much is it's kind of a fetch quest. I heard comparisons already to Rena and the Last Dragon, even though I haven't seen it. But, you know, it kind of worked well for me. Hold on. Yeah, not editing this, just getting on my phone so I can get it out quickly. So, mind the pauses. I'm hoping my more edited video will be a lot cleaner and nicer. But yeah, like I said, okay, so yeah, I'm just here to quickly give you a summary and explain why I love it, because I did love this movie. Although I would say, if I have any problems with it, I think it would be kind of in a sense of, it kind of felt a little rush-paced and kind of wish there was more, like, I wouldn't say it was going at like supersonic speed. There were times in the movie that allowed you to breathe or something, but I don't know. I mean, when I first heard the movie was only 90 minutes, I was kind of skeptical. I mean, from what I saw earlier, there was a lot that apparently needed to get done in 90 minutes, and I'm kind of wondering why they didn't invest more time. Like, there's a scene between Sunny meeting Izzy and heading to Zephyr Heights, the Pegasus city, where I kind of thought that it could have done a lot more if they were to kind of build a stronger bond between herself and Izzy. I mean, they still do, and it is kind of well worked out or not, but I don't know. I think this movie could have been a little stronger if it gave the characters some more room to breathe and interact. But, you know, it's kind of more of a problem of I loved it and wanted to see more versus I was irritated that we didn't get more. Because I think the strength of this movie is more setting up. And I do kind of mean that in a good way. It sets things up, but still managed to tell a good story. And that's kind of by introducing the characters who are likable and very interesting. I won't go into all of them. I'll just kind of more focus on what's known as the main 5, or however they're going to be titled, in order of who I liked least to who I liked most. And starting at the bottom, I would have to probably say it would be, I'm sorry, Jay, if you're seeing this, but Pip Petals. And by what I mean bottom, I kind of mean, surprisingly, I still kind of really liked her more because just the others are so great. Although what I kind of had the most apprehension about her versus another character I'll get into a bit, only because her stick was she's sort of a Instagram hip kind of person, you know, like with cell phones and whatnot. And as a writer, it's really, really difficult to make that work where you're kind of all trendy and famous and popular and whatnot. But I'm surprised they actually kind of made it work. They actually made, for lack of a better term, an Instagram celebrity work and likable. I still kind of think, I mean, still kind of not necessarily my favorite since, only, like I said, only because the other characters, I think, got a little more screen time, but I think there's definitely a lot there developed that I don't want to get into right now and save that for the most spoiling part. And up next, and this is probably going to surprise a lot of people, but I would say Izzy. Again, nothing bad. She was definitely likable, and I kind of did enjoy her most in all the trailers and sneak peeks that I saw coming up to this, but in terms of the cast, I think she was kind of more for, but she's still a very fun and likable character, full of energy. Like I said, don't hate her, just compared to the other characters, such as with Sunny. Now, Sunny, I think, was a really, really great character, and I would even say arguably even better than Twilight Sparkle from the Friendship is Magic show or premiere. Now, hold on, let me explain. Not that I think that Twilight or even necessarily Friendship is Magic bad, but, oh, and also to kind of get this out of the way, yes, I did think this movie was far better than the 2017 My Little Pony movie. Far, far better. And I think a lot of that did kind of have to do with Sunny. I guess the best way I can describe Sunny is she's kind of a activist, lack of a better word, woke-ish kind of pony, but in a very, like, it doesn't go over the head and bash you on the head. She's still likable. She's kind of I'm kind of lost how to ground this, and I'm hoping to better explain in my more elaborate spoiler review, but yeah, she was a good combination of still being likable, having her own personality. She's a dreamer optimist, and it kind of shows and really kind of rubs off on you and is encouraging. And now for our second spot, we have Zipper Zip. And now, unfortunately, I'm kind of not going to get too much into her because I kind of actually have a headcanon video coming up that explains way more, but she was definitely second favorite for her personality, surprisingly having more to do with Izzy and even the storyline than people probably thought Pip was going to, which is probably why she's more at number 5 than higher on the list. But yeah, I personally really love Zip, and that's all I really want to say, since I have a whole another headcanon video coming online for that. And so that makes surprisingly my favorite character, Hitch. Yeah, next to Pip, he was the most worrisome character I kind of had going into this, since essentially he's the first real main male character in the My Little Pony canon verse. I mean, I think there were kind of male characters in what was thought of G2, but no, not going to go into that. But for the most part, no. He was really the first main male character, and I was kind of worried, especially with Friendship and Magic and Spike kind of just being like a punching bag. Guys are more sophisticated and dumb kind of parallels going with, but no, surprisingly, they actually treated him with a lot of respect and dignity. Like, they didn't, I think once or twice they might have, but for the most part, they actually treat him like a genuinely dignified character. It wasn't just a simple punching bag or males are dumb or stupid. I mean, he had flaws, but they kind of more like in a work and develop its character flaws. He was really, really likable. You kind of had to admire what his own conflicts throughout the whole story. And surprisingly, I think the best chemistry between characters in this movie would have to go more to actually him and Sunny rather than anyone else. And like I said, I think that just they kind of could have done better with Sunny and Izzy, who I really kind of wanted to see more of them because of just how cute they've been in all the promotion trailers. But yeah, surprisingly, I think Hitch and Sunny actually had the most chemistry in this movie. Not romantic, mind you. And actually, that was another kind of thing I was actually proud and surprised of. I mean, there seemed to have been a small hint that maybe it might go one day with him and another character who I don't want to get into right now for or which one of them I should rather say. But yeah, for the most part, this movie wasn't really focused on the trope that I thought it was going to go with, where he ultimately only followed Sunny because she was his childhood crush, and ultimately developed romantic feelings instead for another character. It didn't go there. I mean, I think arguably it might have hinted at that might be explored in the series, but for the movie, it didn't worry about romance, and I gotta give it respect and credit for that, especially. So, let's see, is that anything I really wanted to cover? Oh yeah. Another thing I also kind of really liked was the parallels and symbolism it has to what could be described as modern-day topic. A big theme of this movie was ultimately the fact about unity, division, separation, misinformation, and learning to come together and set aside your differences. And I can see that there can kind of be arguments that this movie was, in particular, talking about American politics, one particular fellow in particular in the past couple of years, and I'll say that, yeah, if you do know what you're looking for, there are kind of obvious parallels. Like, there's one scene, an example, where a bunch of ponies were wearing red hats. Flags. Helmets. Yes, I did do that on purpose. But in all honesty, I think that was the closest thing to a obvious parallel to American politics in the past couple of years, aside from a few frames that could be argued. The main villain of the story, Sprout, kind of looks like this one guy, but in all honesty, any parallels are more just. But honestly, the way the movie works, honestly, this message can be more timeless. It's not bogged down by what's happening or happened in America particularly, but honestly, it could be anywhere where the issue is there's been a leader that kind of falls into a fascist, nationalist kind of area review. Oh, and speaking of villains, I kind of really like the main villain of this one. And for the most part, just focusing on Sprout. There were, I guess you can kind of say, 3 other villains, but for all intended purposes, the real main villain, when you kind of get down to it, was this red stallion character named Sprout. And yeah, he was actually kind of enjoyable, likable. He kind of is set up as this in the shadow of Hitch, who is the town sheriff, I should have mentioned, by the way. And kind of has this egotist, and when Hitch runs off to try to chase down Sonny, he's basically left alone and in power, and that kind of gets to him. And it really kind of also builds an escalation to this one song called, the villain song. I can't remember on the top of my head what it's called. And I'm using my phone, so I can't look it up. But yeah, I pretty much think that his villain song was easily one of the best villain songs in My Little Pony, honestly, so far. It just has this raw bit of energy that works you up, and it's like, oh no. And like I said, everything about him is great in conflict. I think I'm just going to stop there with him and save more thoughts by more spoiler review. But, I think for the most part, that's kind of it. I do kind of have to get going. I watched this movie as soon as it came out, and I have work in the morning. But yeah, I just wanted to be here quickly to say, if you hadn't seen the movie, definitely check it out. And surprisingly enough, I went into this super hyped, overexcited. I mean, I don't honestly think I've been this excited or hyped for a movie since the first Transformers movie in 2007, which is sorry, words I'm failing, but yeah, first Transformers movie. This was before the other movies and before it was considered bad or whatnot. But yeah, aside from some pacing issues and kind of wishing they might have added a few more minutes to expand chemistry and characters between characters, honestly, this movie was pretty enjoyable. Whether it be you're a pony fan or just someone who, I wouldn't go into this thinking it's like going to be the best thing ever. I probably more have expectations of it'll be a lot better than what you think for a quote-unquote girls movie. Probably had the same expectations you might have for, say, a Disney movie or something. Oh, and quick little note, especially love the comedy. Gonna save it more for the spoiler review, but there's this one scene that involves us unicorns and this particular item that was just brilliant. I mean, I was surprised with just how much I was roaring with laughter throughout some of this movie. It's a great and enjoyable film, and especially this week where I've been kind of having some mental issues, especially, it really did good in getting me through. I think it was a beautiful film. It even got me to cry a few moments. Not like, I wouldn't say big waterwork cries, but no, there were some genuine teary moments, honestly. It was honestly just great. The music in it was great. The characters, for something that's just more as a start out, was great. The chemistry, while I think could have been fleshed out a bit better, still was enjoyable. I'm more looking forward to what they have to come. Comedy top notch. It was, yeah, honestly, aside from a few nitty-gritty details that might have continuity issues with the world and how it's supposed to be set up and some pacing, it was honestly a good film. And like I said, honestly, I'm assuming if you're already here, you were kind of already on the fence about seeing it. Not sure if it was worth the time or not, but I'm here to say, if you're even somewhat a pony fan, this is definitely a movie worth checking out. And hopefully in a few days, I'll be able to come up with something a bit more scripted that's more spoilery. I'm just going to stop there and promise that, along with a possible headcanon video I have on Zip, possibly in a couple weeks. Depends on how things happen. But anyway, be on the lookout for that. It's so great to be back into Pony and to somewhat talk about that, even if just kind of as a more quick bloggy midnight review kind of movie. But in any case, let me know what you think of it down below. Do try to keep spoilers to at least a minimum, or just make sure you say strongly ahead of time you are going to talk about spoilers if you're going to tell me in the comments why you really love this movie. But in all honesty, like I said, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth seeing. And like I said, hope to be back in a few days for the spoiler review. But until then, stay brony, everyone. Okay, I'm definitely going to work on a better catchphrase. What was it again? Okay, yeah. I think my catchphrase was, I hope this video is worth your time. Well, anyway, come on, little AJ, gotta get to work.